Hi everyone, it's your girl Stephanie, and welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Steph. Okay, let's talk about something that might get me in trouble. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. So, when did common sense become a luxury item? I'm over here thinking 3 steps ahead, reading the instructions, reading the room, the email, the energy, and some people are just chilling. Like I'm building the emergency exit plan and they're still deciding what shoes to wear. And listen, I'm not perfect. But if the stove is hot, why are we still touching it to see it for ourselves? I'm like, is it not common? Or are we just choosing not to use it? And I know, common sense is not that common. So that being said, this episode is slightly dramatic, a little petty, very self-aware, because yes, it annoys me. But it also exposed something about me. So here we go. I truly believe my patience has grown over the years, but I do believe in limits. And when it comes to common sense, the bar is not that high. And let me explain how this goes in my head, because there are levels to this. Level A, grace. I'm okay. Maybe they didn't see it. Level B, explanation. Clear communication step by step with a calm tone. Level C, demonstration. Now, I'm in workshop mode, visual, live demo, smiling externally. But internally, I'm like, are we serious right now? Level D, silence. Because at level D, I've already decided I'm doing it myself. And inside my head, it's a full HR meeting with Eminem on the background and bullet points. Literally. But here's the thing. When I hit level D too fast, it's usually not about them. It's about me not wanting to feel delayed. I don't like inefficiency. I don't like preventable messes. And I don't like fixing what could have been avoided. But sometimes, that's not high standards. That's control disguised as productivity. But here's the reason why it really bothers me. It's not about intelligence. It's about awareness. If something is obviously going to backfire and you walk into it like it's a personality trait, I struggle because I anticipate, I think ahead, I read subtle shifts. So when someone doesn't, my brain goes, hello, did we not see that coming? But here's the part where I saw growth in me. We all grew up differently, different cultures, different homes, different emotional training. Some people were taught to anticipate, some were taught to react. Some were taught nothing at all, just to survive. So what feels obvious to me might genuinely not exist in someone else's mental framework. And that doesn't make them dumb. It makes them wired differently. Still frustrating sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, but different. But once you understand that, you soften. You stop expecting everyone to operate from your blueprint, even if your eye twitches a little, literally. But I'm gonna humble myself right now. Sometimes what I call lack of common sense is actually my intolerance for inefficiency. Sometimes it's not about them, it's my perfectionism. Because I like things done correctly. I like clarity, I like structure. And sometimes explaining feels longer than just doing it myself. So I jump in, I fix it, handle it, I carry it. And then I'm frustrated that I'm carrying it. Make it make sense. But here's the deepest truth. If I'm honest, I don't like depending on people who might drop the ball. Because somewhere along the way, I learned that if I want it done right, I have to do it myself. And that voice feels efficient. But it's fear. Fear of disappointment, fear of mess, fear of being let down. And control feels safe when you don't fully trust anyone else to hold the weight with you. And that's not common sense. That's self-protection. And that realization changed me. But I do want to clarify something important. Common sense and competence are not the same. Common sense is awareness, competence is skill. Sometimes people don't know, and that's teachable. Sometimes people don't think. Now that's different. But even that has layers. You know, sometimes people don't think ahead because no one ever modeled it for them. Sometimes no one held them accountable. And sometimes they never been in environments where awareness was required. That doesn't excuse everything because, at the end of the day, common sense should be common. Keyword should, but it explains a lot. And here's where I actually value though. I value the effort, communication, ownership. Someone saying, hey, I don't know this, can you show me? Or hey, can we sit down and talk together? You know, those kind of things make me happy because that means you're aware enough to ask. And awareness, it's attractive in work, in friendships, in relationships, in life. You don't have to know everything. Just don't move through life asleep. Common sense isn't about being smart, it's about being present. And I've realized that my frustration isn't about intelligence, it's about caring more than I should. Because I don't like letting people down. So I anticipate, I overfunction, I tighten control. And when someone drops the ball, it feels like confirmation that I was right to carry it all along. But if I have to be honest, it's exhausting and it creates resentment. And resentment doesn't create leadership. Sometimes growth looks like this: explaining once, letting them try, let them fail, and let them learn. And don't jump into rescue immediately, even if it's slower, even if it's imperfect, and even if your brain wants to blow out of your head. Not everyone was taught to anticipate. Some people are still learning awareness. And if I truly value growth, I have to allow space for it without shaming someone for not having it yet. And that's emotional maturity. And that's harder than just being right. So, yes, common sense is not that common. And yes, sometimes I want to scream into a pillow. But growth for me looks like this: explaining once, allow someone to try, let imperfection exist, stop rescuing every situation. And it doesn't matter if you're the smartest person in the room, if you're also the most exhausted one. Peace doesn't require you to control every room you enter. It requires discernment, softness, trust, even when my perfectionist eye twitches a little. So if you're the one who reads the room, anticipate problems, and values awareness, I see you. But let's not turn that into carrying the world alone. So tell me, does lack of common sense triggers you too? Or is it just me? Message me on Instagram, Unfiltered Step Podcast, or you can comment below. And send this to someone who reads the room before the room explodes. Until next time, stay true, stay raw, and remember, life doesn't come with a filter.